Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I am back with another episode of the Horizons Author Lounge. And I'm excited because tonight I'm going to be talking with an author who I believe I met at the National Black Book Festival in Houston, Texas. And if I'm wrong, Sabrina, tell me I'm wrong. It's okay. I won't be upset. But we're going to have a good time tonight, as always. And then once we're finished talking with Dr. Sabrina, we're going to be talking about all of the initiatives that we have going on right now with the whole Right to Win community and the right to the Meet the World Writers Cruise. We have so many things happening, and I'm super excited to tell you all about it. Hello, Marcus. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you. So, but without any further ado, I'm going to bring on our very first guest, Dr. Sabrina. Hello, doctor. How you doing?
Hello, Dr. Lawson. I am so excited to be in the house tonight.
And I'm excited to have you.
Thank you. And we actually met not in Houston. You interviewed me before when we were preparing for the National Black Book Festival.
Oh, boom. Yes, I remember now. Yeah, you're right. But you were in Houston, though.
I was in Houston.
I remember I interviewed you on Black Authors Matter TV.
Right, you did.
Yes.
You did.
And guess what? I don't know if you heard, but we actually just received an award for Best Podcast on Black Authors Matter TV.
Wow, congratulations. Yay, Black Girls Rock.
Yes. No, I mean, we have been doing that show since 2020. We started that show during COVID. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing my own shows since 2017. And I actually decided that I was going to go on hiatus in 2020, and not because of COVID. I had decided prior to COVID, I was going to go on hiatus for a little while. And then COVID happened. I said, okay, but I guess I am going on hiatus. And then Gwen comes along and says, well, we're not going to be able to do the National Black Book Festival, so I think we're going to maybe start a show. Would you like to co-host the show with me? I was like, okay, I guess I'm not going on hiatus anymore. So that's how we started Black Authors Matter TV. And it's taken off. We just recently interviewed our 700th guest.
Wonderful.
So, yeah, I'm excited about that. And now the Horizons Author Lounge, which is my personal show. I've been doing this show for, I believe, the last 2 years. And this is what I do. I love interviewing authors and helping authors to elevate their work. So I was really glad when we talked at the National Black Book Festival and you said you wanted to come on my show. I was like, good, we get to have a good conversation,
Yes. Well, thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. So without any further ado, why don't you tell everybody who is Dr. Sabrina Williams?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Dr. Lawson. I am Dr. Sabrina Edmund Williams, author and investor, opening minds and closing contracts. Oh. I am so noted, and I am so excited to be here with you and your guests, your audience here at Horizon Author Lounge.
Oh, come on. I love that. You had that all together. This is what you do. I can tell already.
This is what I do. I host a radio program on Mondays here locally in I'm in the Jackson, Mississippi metro area. Okay. And I host, my show is SEW Talks Money and More on Monday mornings. And so I get to practice my little opening every Monday. And sometimes on other days as I'm needed at the radio station.
Love it. Love it. So I don't know, little known fact, I was actually born in Mississippi. A lot of people think I was born in New Orleans, but I was
Really?
born in Mississippi.
Where?
I was born at Keesler Air Force Base, and
Down on the Gulf Coast.
yeah,
Mississippi Gulf Coast. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So you're a
I
home girl.
I'm a native Mississippian somewhat. I wasn't born in Mississippi, so I've
Okay,
been here a good part of my life. I grew up here in a small town called Prentice, Mississippi.
okay.
Um, and as they say, big things come from small towns. I tell you, I am so proud of my hometown, even though it's a very, very small town. One stoplight, I think. I think we still have that stoplight. But anyway, we've had some people to come from that town that have done wonders. I don't know if are you a basketball fan by any chance,
Of
professional?
course.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you may have heard of a guy by the name of Big Al Jefferson. I don't know if Al is still in the league, but he was a few years ago.
Okay.
He holds the distinction of being from Prentice, Mississippi. So we are very proud of Al, and we have bank presidents that hail from Prentice, Mississippi. We have other authors. I actually interviewed an author on my show just last Monday that has just debuted his book that debuted as a #1 bestseller on Amazon. So we're so proud of that young man. And as I say, big things come from small towns.
Love
Don't
it.
underrate us. Yes, don't underrate us.
So now, the people who come on your show, are they all from Mississippi, or do you kind of expand?
So here's the thing. I have to share this, Dr. Lawson, because I want to encourage someone else and speak life into others. So I have officially just launched my program about 3 weeks ago. However, I have been on air probably about 2.5 to 3 months. And it happened kind of by accident, I'll say. And this is what I mean by that. I asked someone to purchase my book. You know, as an author, we're so excited when we write books. And we want everybody to read our book. So I was coming from the gym one day and I asked this guy to buy my book. Hey, I'm a new author, support me. And he says to me, no, I think I know everything that's in that book. I said, well, how can you? You don't even know the title of the book. You don't know what it's about. How can you know everything that's in the book? And so when I went on to just kind of give him an overview, he says, oh, I know all that. They talk about that on the radio. And I'm like, oh, really? Where? And so he told me, and he said, you need to go talk to those people at the radio station. And, you know, a lot of times, especially for new authors, and I wanted to share this story because I received a no for the request that I made. However, he really blessed me by saying no because he opened a door for me. I would have never thought of going to the radio station. So I did that same day. I said, God, if this man had the audacity, Dr. Lawson, he had the audacity to tell me no.
If you could have had an attitude and you could have turned your whole mind and everything off to him.
Right. But I didn't.
Out on a blessing.
I didn't. And that same day, I went to ask for the 2 people that he suggested, and both of them were in a meeting. So the very next day, I did get to speak with one of the gentlemen by phone, and by Friday, I was on air. So I was a guest on other people's show for about 2 months before I actually had an opportunity to get my own show. And so you just never know. I want to encourage other authors that are starting out. You never know. Don't take the no's personal because that no could lead to something even greater.
Absolutely. That's a beautiful story. And I'm very glad you shared that because often as authors, you know, we get so focused on making sure that we get the sale. We got to sell these books. If I'm going to travel over here, I better sell all these books because I have to make it worth it. And sometimes we forget that we can make money on the back end.
Right.
Or even if we don't make money at that moment, we forget that maybe we can make valuable connections. I never want to miss out on making a valuable connection. From myself, as an example, back in August, I
Mhm.
was supposed to, well, I did do the book signing. I was invited to do a book signing here in the DMV, and I ordered my books. My books did not come on time.
Oh, wow.
So I could have said, well, I guess I'm not going. I don't have anything to sell. Because I didn't. I had no books to sell.
Mhm.
But I went to that book signing anyway. And because I had flyers and because I had my personality.
Right. Right.
And what I was able to do is I made so many connections that day. And I
Mhm.
added people to my email list that day because I said, okay, if I don't have books, I'm going to take email addresses and I'm going to give away a gift basket.
Right.
And so I made the most out of that. And the owner of the store said, I just want to give you credit because you came here with no books and you have been having a time of your life because she saw me laughing. I was filming content and I had
Mhm.
a great time. And I
Mhm.
met, like I said, I met some great people. And I think just like you said, if we take that no and we say, okay, that's it, and then try to move on to the next thing, we may miss out on a blessing that we didn't even realize was there.
And I think I would have. And this is the thing about radio, television, media. You never know who's on the other side
Yes.
listening to you. So just a few weeks after I started on the radio, I attended the Mississippi Book Festival here in Jackson. I
Mm,
had people to come to my booth to buy my book because they heard me on the radio.
yes.
So you never know. Like I didn't miss anything. I didn't lose anything because I did not make that sale because I gained so much more. And I now have a platform that I would not have had, Dr. Lawson, had I not received that no. I'm convinced that I would not have had it. So
That's
sometimes, you
awesome.
have to take those lemons in life and just make lemonade out of them.
Amen to that. So now tell me about the show. Who do you interview on the show?
So, my vision for my show, Dr. Lawson, because I am an author and an investor, I spend time talking about my subject matter, which is, of course, business. So, I'm talking money and more. That's the name of the show. So Talks Money and More. So, we do a couple of episodes of the show where we're focused on money matters. For
Mhm.
example, today we talked about how to take what has happened as an outcome of the election and turn that into lemonade. So we
Yeah.
know that Mr. Elon Musk, let me give you this stat that just kind of blew my mind. So we know that he is the owner of Tesla, for example. He donated $120 million roughly to the Trump campaign. The day after the election, his stock, his 411 million shares of Tesla
Mm,
received a bump in market value at about 13 to 15%. So that equated to 15 billion with a B
yeah. He made his
dollars.
money back and then some.
Exactly. So what may have to some been a donation, you don't get that kind of return on an investment of a donation. You get that kind of return on an investment. So we are talking to our listening audience about how to think differently, how to look at other communities and basically learn from them and do
Right.
things differently with our own finances. So that's one of the visions I have for the show. But because I am an author, then I highlight one author per month because
Okay.
we want to elevate others as we rise as well. And then I am a small business owner as well. So we invite one person from the community into the studio to do an in studio interview with us because we want to elevate others as we rise. And so that's my
Mm.
vision for the show. I want to educate, I want to enlighten, I want to encourage, and I want to empower my community.
Oh, that's awesome. So I mean, it's like you have a full vision for your show. You're not just on the show to say, okay, I'm going to talk for an hour and try to get famous. You actually have a full vision for the show.
I do. I do. And it's much needed here in Mississippi because you were born here. I don't you may not have been here for a while, but Mississippi is always known for being at the top of every negative poll and at the bottom of every positive poll. And the thing about that is, in order for that to change, we have to change it. Those of us that are here, we have to change it in order for our community to change. And our community, meaning the Black community, in order for that to change, we have to be the who. There's a book entitled Who, Not How. Somebody has to be the who. And so that is my vision, that I will use the gifts that God has entrusted me with to be an example and to help others while I am, my shine doesn't dim anybody else's shine. So, of course, we want to do that. We want people to recognize who we are and our contributions to the world. But we have to bring others along with us, Dr. Lawson. And that is my vision, to help other people. And I was so delighted and excited last Monday to have one of my homeboys to come on my show. He was actually my first in-studio guest. So I was truly excited, and to give him an opportunity to share his work. That was just phenomenal.
Wonderful. So for those of you who may have just joined us, I'm talking with Dr. Do they call you Dr. Soul?
They don't look. I don't care what they call me, Dr. Lawson, as long as they call me.
I feel like that's a thing right now.
Just call me.
I'm talking with Dr. Sabrina Williams, and she is an author. She's an entrepreneur. She is a radio show host. She's doing so many things, and she's an investor. And so what exactly do you invest in?
So my area of expertise is real estate. I began real estate investing about 29 years ago. And I know I don't look too much older than
you. Don't. You really don't.
But I was introduced to real estate investing by a relative of mine. And I want to share this story because I don't know who's listening, and somebody needs this blessing. When I was 25 years old, I graduated from, let me go back. I was 29 years old. I had an opportunity to get a home. And it was one of those situations where we had enough money to afford the house, but we did not have the money that we needed to do the rehab on the house. Okay. And if you know anything about banking, banks don't lend to projects. They don't do that. They lend based on a completed house, something that has some equity in it. That's what they want to see. They don't want to know about your project. So you have to have some type of intermediate funding to get you to where you're trying to go. And so I couldn't get it from the bank. I ended up reaching out to a relative who introduced me to the concept of private money investing. So we were able to borrow what we needed to finish the house, put it together, and move on from there. And that just kind of sparked my interest in, if I could do this for something I can live in, maybe I can rinse and repeat. So I've been an active real estate investor for almost 30 years now.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And Mississippi is a great spot for it. I used to know a contractor who lived in Mississippi, and he liked to buy maybe blighted houses too, but the less pretty houses.
Right.
And because they were cheaper to buy, and he would just fix them up.
Right.
And sometimes he would rent them out, sometimes he'd move into them.
So, and here's the thing, along this journey, we have, my husband and I have been very blessed to be able to provide housing to so many families. And that it's just our honor, to whom much is given, much is required. And to be able at this point in our life, primarily to focus on our elders. We have a lot of tenants now that are elderly people. And, with all the things that have changed and have happened in the world of rentals, with and this has been since COVID, a lot of these people that look just like you and I, Dr. Lawson, really don't have the financial resources to be able to afford some of the higher rents. And so just to be blessed by God, to be in a situation where we can provide housing to people that are truly in need, it's an honor, and we don't take that lightly. We don't. That's a responsibility that we know has been entrusted to us.
So what are a couple of tips that you can give to somebody who might be listening right now, who is hearing what you're saying and they're saying, this sounds great, but I have no idea how to get started in real estate or even investing at all?
Mm-hmm. So the first thing that I would tell anybody, invest in you. Invest in you. We invest, and particularly as a community, we invest in a lot of different people, a lot of different communities. We take our resources and they go through our community. And let me just be clear, I'm talking about Black folks. Mm-hmm. Money circulates through our community on average about 6 hours, and then it leaves our community. Okay. So one of the things that I encourage people to do is invest in you. What you don't know, be willing to get someone to mentor you. Be willing to admit what you don't know. There are a lot of people out there that can provide guidance to you. And then don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's okay. Some of the first houses that we purchased when we got started this journey, I go back now and I wouldn't dare look at them. You know, like, what were we thinking? What were we thinking? But you learn, and you can't be afraid to learn. We go back to when we were children, Dr. Lawson. I mean, we didn't fear anything. We took that Monopoly board and we played that game called Monopoly. And sometimes we landed on other people's property and we just paid them. You know, we did what we had to do. Sometimes we were sent to jail. We went and sat in time out and we were okay with that. But then as we grow and we become adults, we just fear everything. What if I fail? Well, what if you do? Failure is only final if you allow it to be.
But, you know, the scary part is not so much what if I fail, what are people going to say if I fail? We get so afraid of what other people are going to say or what other people are thinking. And I don't care how well you do in this world, there's going to be somebody who's going to talk about you.
That's true.
And, I mean, it's a hard lesson I had to learn. You know, I wanted to make sure I did everything perfect because I knew somebody was watching and waiting for me to fail. And I didn't want to give them anything to talk about, but they're going to talk anyway.
Let's give them something to talk about. Let's give them something to talk about, because the reality is, how do we learn? Let's go back to when we were children. When we learned how to ride a bike, we didn't just get on that bike and all of a sudden we were just going. We got on it, we tried to go, and we failed. You know, we fell over. Sometimes we skin our knee. Sometimes we skin our elbows. Sometimes we may even bruise our head. But we didn't stop. We got up, we cleaned ourselves up, and we tried it again. You know, so there's nothing to fear when it comes to failure. It's only final if you allow it to be. So there have been lessons that I've learned about, you know, purchases that I've made. There's been lessons that I've learned about different people, even that I've rented to. I had to get to a point in my journey where I learned how to screen tenants properly.
Yes, because you can't be nice to everybody.
Right. So it's a learning process, and we have to just be willing to learn and evolve and just trust that we're not going to always get it right. But guess what? We're not going to always get it wrong either.
Yep. Amen. Amen. So now do you happen to have any of your books with you right now?
I do. I'm an author. I always have. I do. I've been waiting for you to ask.
We couldn't end the show without you talking about your book.
Oh, I am so excited to just kind of share my journey with learning to trust. This is a very personal journey. And when people read the title of the book, they think, oh my God, emotions. And, she's learning to trust people, she's learning to trust a process. But this book is actually subtitled The Black Family's Guide for Building, Protecting, and Transferring Wealth. So when I'm speaking about trust, I learned the process of estate planning. And my messaging is to impart into my community, the Black community, why it is so important to estate plan. And I have to share this, Dr. Lawson.
Yes.
I was in the bank earlier today. And it's, I'm at the window taking care of my business, but I was so intrigued by what I was hearing next to me. So I was doing a little ear hustling, I will admit.
That sounds like some ear hustling right there.
Yeah, I'll admit it. So the gentleman standing there was talking to the lady that was waiting on him about his mother who had passed, and now he's trying to access her money. And guess what? His name is nowhere on it. Nobody's name is on the money.
Because she never took a trust, or she never did a will.
Well, it's not even about a trust or a will when it comes to banking. And I talk about that in my book. Okay, what happens to your money that's in the bank and how you should handle that situation and what you should put in place now so that when you do pass, your family will be able to access your money, if for no other reason but to pay for your funeral. Yes. These are things that we are not getting right by far and by large, Dr. Lawson. And it's a conversation that we have to start having in the Black community. This is
why I love the title of your book. And I think I said this the last time we talked, because learning to trust is so many things, because we as a community don't trust the banks. We don't trust other people. If we do write a will, we don't want to tell anybody where it is. Right. So, if something happens, nobody can find it. So we have that type of trust, but then we also have the legal trust, where we need to be able to take out a trust so that your assets are taken care of and then your family is taken care of.
That's true. And the one thing that is imperative that our community understands is why it is necessary. Estate planning. I've had people to say, well, Dr. Williams, I don't have a lot of assets. Why is this necessary? Well, estate planning encompasses far more than just simply writing a will or starting a trust. Okay, think about the single mom who has 3 or 4 children and she's in an accident on her way to work. What happens to her children? Who cares for those children? It may not be her wishes for the children to end up in the foster care system. But if there has been nothing put in place, then that very well could happen. Or in an instance like COVID, when so many people went to the hospital and died, Dr. Lawson, think about the number of people that had nothing in place in terms of their healthcare directives. And so people, families were not able to be with these people during COVID. So decisions had to be made on who lived and who died. And you remember a whole lot of folks that look like us died during COVID. And so these are things that we have to think about. Are there insurance policies? Where are the policies? Do your family, does anyone in the family even know where to look if you should die for your important paperwork? And I get told so often, well, Dr. Williams, I just don't want to think about that. That's such a hard conversation to have. And I get it.
It's a hard conversation.
It's hard. It is hard. And that's why I wrote this book, to give us a guide as a community, as families, to sit down and start that difficult conversation. Because just because something is hard does not mean it's not necessary.
And as I listened to you, one of the hardest classes that I took when I was in the Army was not a physically hard class, but I went to a class where for those of you who have not been in the military, you've seen the movies where two uniformed soldiers come and knock on your door to tell you that your loved one died in battle, or your loved one died in the line of duty. Um, that that person's story or that person's duty doesn't end there.
No.
That person also has to be the one to walk them through the entire process,
Right.
even up to when that loved one is buried, and when even afterward. And so what people have found out is that a young soldier gets married. And well, when that soldier first joins the military or the army in this case, when they first join the army, they have to go through this class, this legal assistance class, and they say, "I'm just going to leave everything to my mom," and that's great, that's beautiful. But then a few years go down the line, and they get married. They never updated that will.
Right.
They didn't take out a trust.
Right.
And they go to Afghanistan, they go to Iraq, or they might just have a car accident and they pass away. And now all of their assets, the wife thinks, okay, I'm going to be taken care of because I know that my husband had insurance, because the military makes sure we have insurance, great insurance. I know that we had a house, we had this, we had that, but he didn't update his will before he passed. And so everything went to his mom. He loved his wife.
Right.
He did not take care of his duties.
Right. And we talk about that in the book. Estate planning is not a one and done. It is not. It is a continuous process. As you said, there have been instances, and I could even stomach leaving it to mom, but there have been instances where people have taken out insurance policies and had girlfriends as the beneficiary, and they haven't been together in 20-30 years, and then they die, and the family is thinking, just like you said, oh, this person has worked at this job for 30 years, they have insurance, and come to find out the girlfriend from 30 years ago is the beneficiary on the policy.
Or the person who got married, they got divorced, he got married again.
And the ex-wife.
Yes, and the ex-wife got everything.
Right.
Because they never updated it.
That's why this is an essential conversation that has to happen in the community, in our community. Even when we talk about how we pass on, just so that, and I know we're short on time, but I want to make sure your listening audience understands, because many people say, well, Dr. Williams, if I have a will, isn't that adequate? Well, my answer to that, Dr. Lawson, is always, it depends. It depends on what your objectives are. If your objective is to protect your assets, then no, a will not do that. A will, that's not what a will is designed to do. It's simply designed to pass on your estate once you expire. So any type of protection you need for your assets, you're only going to be able to do that when you move them into a trust. So understanding that, and it really does matter. When you read the book, I open with my own story of what almost happened to me and how I could have potentially lost all of my assets because of a lawsuit. And so once you understand that, you have to move differently based on what your personal objectives are. And so I would just encourage people to really support this work. I will travel, Dr. Lawson, to talk to groups, to talk to families, to talk to whoever I need to talk to about the importance of estate planning for building, protecting, and transferring wealth in the Black community. I will do that for you. And I'm so passionate about it because I feel like God has purposed me and my life for this season. This is my passion, talking to people and encouraging them. This is not just a book for me. It really is a work. It is a work for me. And so I encourage people. I'm gonna end with this unless you have another question for me, Dr. Lawson.
No, because you answered the question I was gonna ask. So I'm just letting you roll with it.
Yeah. So I would like to say to your listening audience, please support this work for a couple of reasons. First of all, 100% of the net proceeds from the sale of the book are being given back to charity. Okay. We want to improve the community. My goal, I'm an educator. I want to educate my community. So I encourage you to buy the book and rise, RISE, rise. Read the book. Once you read the information, implement. No matter what it is in here that you have not done, if it's your banking information, if it's insurance, whatever you need to do, implement. Once you implement, share. Share this with other people. Share what you know with your children. Most of the time, birds of a feather flock together. If you don't have your stuff done, your friends don't have their stuff done either. Trust me, they don't. Birds of a feather flock together. Yeah. Okay. And then once you have done that, encourage other people to support the work. Encourage other people to support the work. I would encourage you to support what we are trying to do. My heart is pure and I want my people, just like Sister Harriet wanted her people out of slavery. I want us out of financial bondage. So please read this book, share it with other people, do what you need to do to improve your life. So when you don't know, when you've not been exposed, you have an excuse. Now that you have watched this interview, Dr. Lawson has opened the door. You have watched the interview. You've gotten the information. You have no excuse. So if you mess around and die and your stuff is not in order, that's on you.
You better scoop. Come on now. And I just put it on the screen. Read, implement, share, and encourage.
Rise.
Love it. Love
and
it. Love
what does Sister Maya say? And still I
rise. Yes. So now everybody, we've had the website on the screen. Make sure you go out and get this book. This is such an important book. And this is the type of book you don't need to read it. You don't need to read it all in one sitting. No. Use this as kind of a tool, a toolkit. Use it as a textbook. There are certain parts in it that you can read, that you can learn from. Just go back and forth through the book until you get where you need to be. And you don't have to wait until you're old. You never know when that time is going to come. And you want to make sure that your loved ones are taken care of. I mean, I think as I was listening to you speak, I have a will. But I've not updated my will in a while. So I want to make sure that I go back and make sure that it's fully updated so that my loved ones are adequately taken care of. And plus my assets have changed since the time I wrote that will. So I want to make sure that all of that is in place. So if my time ever comes, whether it be tomorrow, whether it be 20 years from now or 30 years from now or 50 years from now, I want to make sure that I'm good and that my people are good.
I have to say one other thing. Here in the South especially, but within our community as a whole, Dr. Lawson, we deal with this thing that I've heard most of my life. It's called heirs property. I don't know. Are you familiar with that term, heirs property?
I've heard it before.
Okay, so heirs property basically means if you die and you don't have your business structured where your property transfers to one individual or entity, let's say you have 5 children and you say, well, I can't just choose one. I'm going to leave it to all of them. That's considered heirs property. There is no one owner, one clear owner of the property. In the South, we tend to lose our property in the Black community at astronomical rates because we don't transfer it properly. And what ends up happening a lot of times is heirs will either maybe move or die, or we can't agree on who's going to pay the property taxes.
Right.
Now, I have an issue with that, Dr. Lawson, because my grandparents had a 5th grade education and an 11th grade education, grandpa and grandma. And they had enough senses in their heads to get their hands on a house and 40 acres of land. So you mean to tell me those of us that are educated folks can't pay $300 or $400 a year in property taxes? So we lose what grandma and grandpa sacrificed to work for. That's a conversation we're not having enough in
that's
the Black
tearful.
community.
When you
Yes.
break it down like that, it's tearful.
Yes, it really is. It makes you wonder where our minds are. So we have got to start having some different conversations and all of that. I talk about all of that because I want to evoke thought. I'm not trying to necessarily to get you to think how I think, but I am trying to get you to start thinking, you and your family. We got to start doing something different because it makes no sense for Big Mama to sacrifice to get a house to leave for us, and then we turn around and lose it. It makes no sense. And we've got to start doing things differently. If we're already behind in the wealth gap as a community. But if we don't learn how to use the things that we have in our hands properly and differently, we will always be behind other communities, Dr. Lawson. And that should not be our desire, especially those of us that are educated people. That should not be our desire.
I agree. I agree. Well, Dr. Sabrina, thank you so much for joining me tonight and talking with me. This was an eye-opening conversation. I hope that everybody who is listening to the show tonight has taken note. I hope that you will go out and purchase this book. If you don't know where to get started, this book will help you to find a way to get started.
Yes, it will.
So thank you once again for being on the show. I know we have your website on the screen, but how else can people contact you?
So if you are an e-reader, then you will find my book on Amazon. Okay, so the ebook is on Amazon. However, I have intentionally chosen not to put the book on Amazon because I want to help guide you and lead a conversation. So you have to get it from my website or one of my live events. I will be traveling the country. I have already started touring the country to start a national conversation. Ma'am?
When you coming to DC?
Yes, I was actually in the DC DMV area the first week of October, and I didn't know that's where you were. Actually, I did not.
You thought I was in Louisiana, didn't you?
I didn't know. I thought you were in Texas, actually.
Yeah, most people think I'm either in Louisiana or Texas.
I did, but I was in the DMV then, and I have some. I made some contacts during the book festival, so I am planning to come back to the DMV. But I would travel, you guys. I want you to know I am so passionate about this. If you have a civic group, a church group, a sorority, fraternity, whoever, I will travel to you to lead this discussion. Your family reunion, I'll come to lead the discussion because we got to start talking about this stuff. And let me just say this. We have no clue what's going to happen over these next 4 years, the way things are shaping up with our government. But I will tell you, there's going to be a lot of money made. We can sit on the sidelines and watch it happen, or we can roll up our sleeves and get out there and make some of this money that's getting ready to happen.
That's true.
So let's start talking.
All right. We staying in touch.
Okay.
I don't care what you say. We friends now.
We friends. Doctor.
All right. Once again, thank you, Dr. Sabrina, for joining me tonight. Wonderful conversation. Amazing conversation. Thank you so much. If you ever want to come back on the show, just say the word. We have openings in March through the rest of the year. So it's wide open for you.
Okay. Thank you so much. And maybe by the time I come back, I will be well on my way to book number 2 because I have some more stuff to talk about too. And it's all about the business. So it's talking money and more.
Love it. Love it. All right. Well, you have a wonderful evening. And I know you got a phone call to make, and we went over time, but I couldn't stop the conversation. Oh, I lost her. Oh, I don't know how I lost her, but I lost her. But y'all, I just want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. And as promised, there is a lot going on with Meet the World Image Solutions. And I want you all to be a part of it. So for those of you like Mark, who was on a little earlier, I don't know if he's still on. We have the For the Culture Book Awards. They are going on right now. Man, competition is fierce. These are some amazing books. And I already have my judges. I'm about to send them the book so they can get started reading. If you would like to be a judge for the Horticulture Book Awards, make sure you message me either on Instagram or Facebook, or you can email me. But I would love to have you. I mean, what we want to have is a diverse panel of judges who are judging these books, because we don't want to ever say that, oh, it wasn't fair because everybody only liked urban fiction, or it wasn't fair because everybody only liked historical fiction. We want to make this a diverse panel across the board. So if you would like to be a judge for the Horticulture Book Awards, um, just come on, just let me know. Just reach out to me. But if you know an author who is a part of this, we have 9 authors that you are judging. Go ahead and you're going to click the link. The link is in the chat right now. It's www.mtwimagesolutions.com/contest 2024. So you can go to the site, you can vote for your favorite author. And I know the site was down because y'all turned up. Y'all turned up quick. I mean, there were so many authors, or so many people who came out to support these authors. It was beautiful to see. So the site went down for a few hours, but it is now back up. So go ahead and continue to vote for your favorite author, and you can come back each day to vote again. So let's support these authors. And we will be announcing the top 5 in January. It's, yes, we'll be announcing the top 5, actually, yeah, in January. And then we will be announcing the winners. And then we will award the winners at the Ivory and Cream Affair Jazz Brunch, which will take place during Black History Month Literary Weekend. So Black History Month Literary Weekend is February 20th through the 22nd. It will take place in Oxonville, Maryland, which is in the DMV. For those of you who are in the DMV area, we would love to have you there. Tickets are not on sale yet for the Ivory and Cream Affair. However, we will be doing a Black Friday special. So those of you who want to get your tickets early and save a couple of dollars, this is the time to do it. So check us out on Black Friday, and you can get your tickets for the Ivory and Cream Affair. It's not expensive, and you're supporting so many things. And another thing that you'll be supporting is during the Ivory and Cream Affair, we will be awarding our 8th and 9th grade essay contest winners. So if you have an 8th or a 9th grader anywhere in the country, does not have to be in the DMV, go to this website, www.mtwimagesolutions.com/BHM, which stands for Black History Month. And you can download the application for the 8th and 9th grade essay contest, and make sure your loved child, your loved kids apply for this essay contest. Winners will receive $300 cash plus a host of other prizes. Oh, yeah. And Mark said that there are a lot of authors this year for Black History Month 2025. That is true. We are featuring 12 authors this year. That's the most that we've ever done in the history of the Black History Month Literary Weekend. And this is our 9th year. So we're featuring 12 authors. Our special guest will be Nalena Kai, who is a USA Today best-selling author, as well as a literary agent. And she is doing so many things in the literary industry, and she has a lot of knowledge that she's waiting to share with you guys. She's going to be one of our special guests. And I have a special treat for you. We will actually have a real live Black Panther named Dr. Regina Jennings, who will be joining us as another of our guest speakers for the Ivory and Cream Affair. In fact, she's going to be hanging with us the entire weekend. So you guys really don't want to miss this. This is going to be a beautiful, beautiful weekend. I just actually finished talking to the school. We were actually invited to 2 different schools this year to talk to the students. And on that Thursday night, February 20th, we are going to be having a welcome social for all of our authors, and it's a free event. So if you're in the DMV, come on through the Urban Grape DC, which is a Black-owned winery in Washington, DC, and we're going to have a time. You can get books, you can meet the authors, and you can sip some wine. Oh, it's going to be a time. And, if y'all know me, I'm a wine girl. So I'm excited about that. I mean, that's going to be the highlight of my weekend right there. All right. So the last thing I want to, well, two last things. The other thing I want to tell you about is the Right to Win community. If you are an author, or maybe you want to be an author and you're not sure where to start, then you definitely want to be a part of my Right to Win writers community. If you take a look at the flyer, and Daniel, if you want to bring the flyer up so people can see what the Right to Win writers community is, this is a community of like-minded writers. It's not just about, oh, what am I going to do? How am I going to sell my book? We want you to sell books, but at the same time, we also want you to appreciate the art of writing. And what we want to do is provide resources for you to improve your writing and to expand your platforms. So we're talking worksheets, we're talking checklists, we have ebooks and access to my courses. All of this for only $25 a month. So, and if you are a founding member, because this is a brand new group, if you would like to be a founding member, then click this link that you see on the screen right now and become a founding member, and you will actually get the first 2 months for 50% off. That's not bad at all for everything that you're getting. You're getting everything that everybody else is getting, but you're getting it for 50% off. So you can't really beat that deal. I would love to see you there. This community is going to continue to grow, and we're going to continue to offer information and resources to help you to build your platform and become that best-selling author that you dream of being. Now, the very last thing that we have going on, I told you there's a lot going on. We popping over here now. We popping. So the very last thing that we have going on is the Meet the World Writers Cruise. Yes, the Meet the World Writers Cruise. This will be a 5-day or 5-night cruise leaving from Miami. We're going into Puerto Plata, the Dominican Republic, and we're also going into Bimini, the Bahamas. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have writers' workshops. We're going to have exclusive socials. We're going to have author events. And I have a very popular celebrity author who I can't tell you who it is yet. I'll let you know in a couple of days. But we have a celebrity author who is going to be a part of this event. And this person is really looking forward to it. And this person already said, I'm going to do whatever you need me to do on this cruise. So I'm excited, y'all. So we are now taking deposits. If you would like to go on the cruise, get in contact with me, or you can click the link right here on the screen, www.mtwimagesolutions.com/cruise, to get information on this. And guess what? This is an adults only cruise. Every room is a balcony room. Every room has hammocks. I mean, that's awesome. Meals are included. Your drinks are included. I mean, you really cannot beat this. This is going to be super, super amazing. And this is going to be our very first writers cruise. And we want you to be a part of it. I mean, there's going to be so much that I probably have not even mentioned yet. This is going to be a beautiful experience. And I really, really, really want you guys to be a part of it. So make sure you click this link below. And then soon we're going to be announcing the instructors, including that special celebrity guest that I told you about, that I think you guys are going to be excited about. In fact, this person said once we make the announcement, we're probably going to have to make room for about 10, 20 other people, and I'm loving it. So make sure that if you'd like more information on the Meet the World Writers Cruise, that you either contact me or you click this link, www.mtwimagesolutions.com/cruise. And I'm gonna get you the information that you need because we really want to see you there. So that's all we have going on right now. I mean, it's not a whole lot. Mm-mm, just a few things. But the biggest thing is we are never going to lose our focus. Meet the World Image Solutions has always been a community-based company. So everything that we do is for the kids. The Black History Month Literary Weekend is for the kids. The Horticulture Book Awards funds our essay contest and our scholarships. We give an eighth and ninth grade essay contest, and we also do a graduating senior $1,000 scholarship. And we fund all of this through the events and the services that we offer throughout the year. Another thing that we do is we do book donations. We are going to be donating. My goal this year is to donate 100 books to Books Breaking Borders, which is a literacy organization right here in the DMV. And Kelsey Nelson, she's been with us. She's been rocking with us for the last 2 years. This is going to be her third year rocking with us. And so this year, my goal is to give her 100 children's books. And I want to be able to do it through your generosity. So when you come to our events, you can donate a book. If you don't have a book and you would just like to send a couple of dollars, we will purchase the book for you. But this is all, like I said, this is all about supporting our youth. If you were anything like me, you remember growing up and they made reading fun. We had reading contests. You know, who could read the most books in a certain amount of time. We had pizza parties if we were able to reach our reading goals. And we're not doing that as much as we used to. So we've got to make reading fun again because literacy is the foundation of everything that we do, which is why um it it's a part of my heart. It's a part of my heart to donate a piece of everything that I make with Meet the World Image Solutions to our youth to invest in our future. And I really want you all to be a part of that. So everything I do, from the Meet the World Writers Cruise to the Right to Win Writers Community to the Horticulture Book Awards to the Black History Month Literary Weekend, is all about investing in our future. And the youth are our future. So that's all I have for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for your continued support of Meet the World Image Solutions. I cannot do any of this without you. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And I'm just going to just bless your spirits with this just so you can know what I'm talking about. Hey girl, let's talk about those flaky friends for a second. You know the ones. They promise to hang out, then cancel at the last minute. Over it? Same. Imagine this instead. The Meet the World Writers Cruise, setting sail August 29th, 2025 from Miami. New faces, good vibes, and no one flaking on you. It's just you, a group of ambitious, like-minded writers, and some well-deserved fun in the sun. And here's the kicker. Only 30 cabins, and the first 15 signups get a $200 discount. Why wait around for those friends to come through? Make new ones. Write your story and have the time of your life. Now is the time to write your future bestseller. All right, y'all. I told you, we got it going on here. We're a small business with a huge heart, and we want you all to continue to be a part of everything that we do. So once again, thank you all for joining me tonight. Thank you for supporting Meet the World Image Solutions, and thank you for supporting the Horizons Author Lounge, because without you, there would be no us. So I will see you guys tomorrow on Black Authors Matter TV, and then I'll see you again next week for another episode of the Horizons Author Lounge. So for now, you guys have a wonderful evening. God bless you and good night.